Um, I guess the first question I wanted to ask you, Collins. I mean, look, you had a good year last year statistically. What are some of the biggest reasons in your mind, though, that your game has really taken off this season?
I would say just doing a little bit more diving into the film and doing a little bit more things on court, as far as like my decision making and making sure I'm not overdoing it. But when I'm in there working on the things that I feel like I need to improve on, or even just work on for that game, I feel like I watch so much film, I watch so many games that I've been able to, okay, if this team is in a deep drop, let me work on coming off the screen, shooting the three, or if they're up to touch, okay, let me try to snake it, or even just like, okay, this team, they like to stay attached. Just reading the game a little bit more and understanding like what certain teams' tendencies are.
What pushed you to change the way that you looked at film this year?
I would say just to continue to, I want to continue to improve. And at the end of the day, anything that like I can improve on my game, I want to. And I've been over the summer, even also like all last summer, and even when I was injured, I try to like just get 5% better each and every year of like, okay, let me learn a little bit more schemes and understand the game a little bit more. So I just wanted to go out here and just be better and be more prepared. I feel like when you're prepared, you play a little bit better.
Was there anything different about this past off season because you did have one full year in Utah, one full year of playing for Will Hardy? Were you able to attack the off season any differently?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like my off season coming back, my first season with the Utah Jazz was totally different. I was injured, I was rehabbing, I was pushing it every day, and I was pretty much just trying to like get out there, and I wanted to show people that I was back. And I felt like I didn't feel like myself, but I was able to push myself mentally to come back a lot faster than I was even supposed to. So that was one thing for me. And I used this past summer to really work out and not have to rehab as much and not have to worry about those things. I was really able to work out and work on my game.
Yeah, is there a physical benefit for you being another year removed from that knee surgery?
Absolutely. I would say just the confidence.
Mm.
Confidence is everything, and not worrying about pushing off or not trying to change your game just because you're nervous or scared. I feel like that's something that like people have to get over that hump and know that like I'm good. And I feel like I did that last year, but even more this year, I'm just continue to know like, okay, I'm back to full swing. And at the end of the day, everyone in this building believes in me. So I just got to just continue to go out here and play for them and play for my teammates.
You're playing really well. The team right now is playing really well, and you're a big reason for that. The narrative, as you well know, in previous years, is Collin Sexton scores a lot of points, doesn't impact winning, at least not in a high level way. How much did that perception bother you over the years?
I would say it bothered me a little bit just because I consider myself as a winner. I had to win some type of form to even get to this place. And being that people saying I'm not a winner and stuff, it just gives me a little bit more motivation, a little bit more chip on my shoulder just to go out here and impact winning, however it is. If it's diving on the floor, picking up full court, or guarding the best player on the other team, or scoring the ball, whatever is needed, I'm gonna do it just so I can show people that like when I'm out on the court, I try to impact winning as much as possible. And the little things that may not show up on the stat sheet, I'm gonna do.
Will talked about that perception the other day, and I'm sure you've seen the clip by now, but allowing that perception to seep into how he viewed you last season. Is there a difference in your relationship with Will this year as opposed to last year?
I wouldn't call it too much of a difference. He gets on me a lot. I would say he screams and yells at me a whole lot during the game, even after the game, or even sometimes before the game. I'm like, Coach, what I do? He'd be like, I'm just on you today. Don't worry, I'm never gonna change. So that's something that like I've embraced, and that's something that like I need just because I want to get better. Like anytime a coach is screaming and yelling is for a good reason. That's because they believe in you. So that's something that like I've always like believed in. If the coach is yelling and getting on you, then he wants best. But if once he stopped screaming and yelling, then you should be worried. So that's exactly how like I view it, and that's exactly how I feel like Coach Will has been.
So you view it as a positive because I'm sure people might see an interaction on TV and say, "Oh, well,
Yeah.
this relationship is obviously or has to be bad." You view that
Mhm.
kind of dynamic as a positive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like all my coaches have pushed me to be my best, and they're screaming, yelling. And at the end of the day, you might get screamed and yelled at, but you got to pick out the message from the screaming and yelling. At the end of the day, the games are high. We all competitors in this building. So sometimes when you're competing, and sometimes when you have that emotion, sometimes the voice is level. And at the end of the day, you can't. Okay, just because he's yelling at me doesn't mean like the message might be just get back on defense, but he might be screaming it in a way of like you did 4 or 5 bad plays, and that's just how I've always viewed it. Is like just continue to pick out the message in it and know that it's coming from a good place.
Will's talked about your decision making improving this season. Like you've always been a guy that has been able to put pressure on the rim. Now you seem to be looking more and more to set guys up
Mhm.
when you do that. The assist numbers are up this year from last year, especially when you
Mhm.
look at the per 36 numbers. Has that been more of an emphasis for you, looking for guys being a better decision maker?
Absolutely. Every day I've been coming in every day just working on my decision making and reading through coaches or reading through like different scouts, like I said, just so that when I'm out there, it's like it comes natural. Like, oh, if this guy pulls in, let me zip it to the corner, or if this guy is over, maybe late, I can finish it. And just reading the game. If the game says shoot, shoot. If the game says pass, pass, and not overthinking it.
Your starting numbers since you've been in that lineup, the numbers have exploded. They've gone up. You're up at 22, 23 points per game. Your 3-point shooting percentage is way up. The assisted turnover percentage is better. How has being a starter again, how has that helped you?
I would say just the flow and just being able to go out there and just pick the game out, but also making sure like I set the tone for the rest of the game for my teammates that's coming in. Just being able to set the tone and go out there and just be tough, show them the toughness, and so that when we do get subbed out, okay, they're not just running past us, running like past like doing whatever they want out there. And at the end of the day, I feel like um, that's all I can do is compete and just be tough and just show them like, okay, when I'm in the building and when I'm on the court, I just want people to feel me. So
The ball really moves in this Jazz offense when it's at its best. And even looking at some of your made shots, your high 50s in your made shots that are assisted. I think your mid 90s in made threes that are assisted. Um, not only 90+% of them have been assisted. How much has that made your life easier, kind of the way the ball's moved in this offense?
I would say the offense it's been really good. It's been very beneficial because at the end of the day, not just for myself but for everybody, it's a lot more fun to just even touch the ball when you're going up and down. Sometimes it's hard to get a flow and get a rhythm and also want to compete on the defensive end if you're not just touching the ball. It doesn't matter if you're the one shooting it, but sometimes when you just want to touch it and it gives you that much energy. And sometimes at the end of the day, people don't realize the ball is what the energy is, and sometimes you might get an easy layup or just the hockey assist is something that
Mhm.
people don't see. Okay, I might drive it hard to the nail and kick for a three. Like that is energy. That's what allows you just to want to play defense. Because I don't know too many people that want to just play defense nowadays. You just want to play defense. That's tough.
You've been able to put up these numbers and only playing around 24 minutes a game. When you were in Cleveland, you were in the mid 30s. As how do you feel about the minutes you're playing right now? Is it a good thing to keep you fresher, and to be playing at this kind of level?
Yeah, absolutely. I just feel like at the end of the day, we got so many guys on this team that can play that I don't have to go out there and play all the minutes. Me and Lowry don't, JC, Walker, like Keontae, we don't all have to play high minutes, and that's allowing us to be fresher for when it is our time, so that we can give it 110%. And that's also like what coach always talk. You go as hard as you can when you're out there, so that when you do come out, you're tired. And I feel like that's how we've all been playing, and you can tell when we're out there, we've been flying around.
This team had success at the start of last season, great success at the start of last season before tailing off a little bit. You're now having kind of like a similar run in the middle of this season. Does this success you're having now feel sustainable to you guys? Do you think that maybe you're not going to win every game, but do you think you can play at this kind of level over months instead of just weeks?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like we have the coaches behind us, we got the personnel, and we got the organization like all behind us. So when we're out there, we're competing not just for ourselves, but for the whole building. And sometimes when you have people believing in you, then you can go achieve whatever. So that's how that's how I view it. And I feel like right now we're coming together. Just because sometimes we might lose doesn't mean we need to split apart. Sometimes that might make us a little bit more stronger. And I feel like that's what happened in the beginning of the season.
All right, before I let you go, you may not even be eligible for sixth man because you're a starter now, and you'll looks like you'll be a starter for the foreseeable future. But if you could win one individual award at the end of the year, would you choose most improved player or sixth man of the year?
Um, Honestly, I would choose whichever award is given to me, to be honest. But just because at the end of the day, I put the time in, I put the work in for whatever is given. I know I go out here each and every day and give it my all. I know Coach can, you know, what I mean, he can speak to that. I never complain. I go out here and do whatever is needed. So I just feel like whichever award that I will be given, that'll be a blessing, and I'll be thankful for it, and I'll just continue to work. I think that'll be something that just